Alright, so today's video is going to be a kind of review and some tips that I have for anyone looking to crochet the 6-day star blanket. The 6-day star blanket is a pattern that is created by McKnit. So I give her all the credit for coming up with this pattern and her video tutorials as well. I will link it down below. The way the pattern is written is you can basically use any kind of yarn you want, any kind of weight, color, and then your hook size will kind of depend on the yarn that you use. So for my blanket, I decided to use this Karen macchiato cake, and this is the color Boundless. So it's like this multicolored yarn, and I have some close-up clips so you can see what that looks like. I just wanted to show how blended this yarn is, and it's really pretty. Like, so pretty. I really like the way it's been working up, but yeah, it's every single strand has multiple colors, and here's just like an up close. Here's a close-up. And right now my blanket is about a throw size. It's right here in the back. My dog likes it, evidently. But it's a very pretty, this yarn itself is a mix of acrylic and wool. It's very soft, and it is a weight 5, and I used a 6mm crochet hook for the entire thing. I did a total of around 5 repeats, I think. So here are some clips where you can see the size of my blanket, how big it is right now. So this is 2 skeins done. It's probably about the size of a lap blanket, and my bed is like a queen, so you can see that. It's still pretty small, but it's working up really nicely. 2 skeins. All right, so here is 3 skeins, getting bigger definitely. Okay, so underneath this brown cow fabric is it's a throw blanket. So this is 3 skeins in, and it's definitely like, it's a good size for like a lap blanket or a throw. I might just do one or 2 more skeins, we'll see. I do notice that there's like some weird grouping in the middle. It flattens out if I want it to, but it does kind of bunch up a little weird in the middle, and I have noticed that on other star blankets. But here we go, 3 skeins in. I don't know if I want to continue working it up. I just don't know how big I'm gonna make it. I might just finish out the yarn cake I'm on right now. I bought a total of 5 cakes of yarn, and these are from Michaels. I bought 5 skeins or skeins, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I bought 5 balls of yarn, and I ended up using 4 skeins, 3 completely, 4 I don't know if I'm gonna finish out using the 4th, but it's there. And I think I have some clips with better lighting just so you can see how pretty the yarn is and just how like it looks worked up. I found the yarn was super nice, and I definitely recommend don't go smaller than like a 4 worsted size. I did have one in progress that was a weight 3, but it took up so much yarn, and I feel like I did so many rounds, and it just was not, it was taking too long to get to the size I wanted. So I can kind of show the ones that I had in progress and why I chose to stop with those and then try again with this yarn. Okay, so this is my first attempt at the star blanket. It's this blue ombre yarn from Red Heart. I hadn't really used ombre yarn before, and I just happened to have this at home and I wanted to try it out. So yeah, I actually did go to the store. This is one entire skein of Red Heart Wait for ombre yarn. It's like a blue color, but this yarn is not soft. And when I went to the store to buy more, they weren't the same lots. So the dyes were pretty different. And I decided to not continue making this star blanket. I didn't get too far. Okay. Now this here is my second attempt. It's not really big, not big enough to be a blanket. And this was done using a weight 3 yarn, like I was saying, and I don't really like the rainbow color. I don't like it. So this was the mandala bonus bundle. The yarn was pretty pricey. I did buy 2 skeins. I only used 1. I am gonna return the other one I bought because, like I said, it's pricey and I didn't like the way it looked worked up. I felt like with this weight 3 there was, and I used a 5mm hook, I think. There's just too many holes where this is not going to be a blanket that's going to keep me warm, you know? As for the pattern itself, I actually thought it was super easy to follow. I normally am someone who has to kind of watch tutorials sometimes, but I'm not a beginner crocheter. I've been crocheting for a couple years now. The stitches themselves are very easy, basically just single crochets and double crochets. This is not my first blanket. This is probably my third like blanket pattern I've done before. So I know going into it that it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of yarn and a lot of patience. But I thought the pattern itself was actually super easy to read, especially the setup rounds. So once she kind of has the pattern split into 2 parts, the setup and then the round repeats. So I did the setup rounds, and then I would recommend before you kind of delve into the pattern, sit down and try to make sense of it, read the entire pattern. She has kind of like numbers and parentheses, which the first time I did the pattern, I was a little confused about what the numbers in the parentheses meant, but those are just repeats. I found her video. I now link the video I'm speaking about below. I think there's one round, I think it's round 9 or round 2, where the parentheses kind of start appearing, where I was confused. So I had to like watch her video and make sure that I was following it correctly. And I think her video, she is filming herself crocheting it, so you know if you're on the right track or not. And I found it very helpful, so I will be sure to link that down below. Overall, do I think that this pattern is beginner friendly? I would say if this is your absolute first crochet project ever, maybe not the best for you, but if you have crocheted smaller things before, you know how to single crochet, you know how to double crochet, this is US terminology, you will be okay when it comes to this blanket. You don't even need stitch markers. You can definitely use them if you want help like keeping track of your number of stitches, but I did not use stitch markers at all when making this one, and it turned out super nice. I think it's super soft. I really like it, and I love the colors. How long did it take me? It did not take me 6 days. I think she says in her pattern 6 days is like if you want like the smaller kind of baby size blanket. But yeah, it took me, I would say, because I was not working on it every single day, probably around 10 to 11 days to get it to the size where it is. And I think after a couple repeats, you like have the pattern memorized. It's super easy, and I feel like it takes a while to work up, but I like it when it finally gets to the size where you can like put it on your lap and it warms you up, it keeps you warm while you're crocheting. I did find that I had to take a lot of breaks because my hands would hurt, and I'm using ergonomic hooks. I don't have like a tight grip on my hook or anything. I literally was like the loosest tension I could. But yeah, I did take a lot of breaks because I was having pain in my hands. So look out for that. Don't overdo it. If you need a break, take a break. But overall, I really like this pattern. I will probably do it again. Just the yarn can get kind of pricey depending on how many cakes you're gonna buy or the type of yarn you're gonna use. I have never used like a wool blend before, but I think it's really good because it'll keep me warm and it'll actually serve its purpose as a blanket, which is what we want it to do. So that is all. Thank you for watching. I will link the pattern down below, the video I found very helpful down below, and if you have any questions, let me know. I forgot to say this, but subscribe, like, and check out my socials. Okay, bye.